And actually, I'm here to talk about the environment and how Hinduism views it. In fact, you take my name, Rajiv. Pandit means someone who is a priest, and Rajiv also has a meaning. Each of our names in Hinduism have a meaning, and we can take these meaning from environment, from nature, from planets. So let's all begin. But first of all, whatever we begin with, we always begin with the word of the Lord and a small little prayer. So we are going to just say one small little prayer, one little mantra, the Gayatri mantra, and then I will begin. Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayam. So I will try and see how much I can do in this. So nature, according to Hinduism, is a bridge between human and environment. The Hinduism uses the seasonal change to express gratitude for good harvest, and we pray that the natural forces are aligned and not destructive. We Hindu believe that nature, relationship, religion, climate change, environment, they're all interrelated. To understand Hindu point of view, we must understand the Hinduism's famous phrase. And the phrase is that Hinduism is not a religion, but a way of life itself. We believe that the whole world is a family, including the climate change, nature, relationship with others, human being, animals, plants, environment, insects, birds, and other form of life. So let's go to the first one, which is the elements, which are quite important. So the Hinduism teaches that there are 5 significant elements that make up the environment. That is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Ether is space. And all of these elements, they are derived from nature itself. These elements are interconnected and thus give us life. Life to all beings, humans, animals, plants, insects, and birds, and other form of life. Hinduism also recognizes that the human body is also made out of these 5 elements. Without these elements, life does not exist at all. Each element is connected to the human's 5 senses. The nose is related to the earth, the tongue related to the water, eyes are related to fire, skin is related to air, and ears are related to space. The bond between our senses element is the same kind of bond between human relationship and the natural world. So just to put it in a nutshell or in a little small summary, for Hinduism, nature, environment is not an alien object, is not something outside. It is not an hostile one. It is not something that is outside, but it is something that is within us. They're inseparable from life and body itself. Some people say we are looking after the nature. We say nature is within us and not an entity that is outside. Is one of the we have many religious books, and one of the books, the Upanishads, it also says that the supreme reality, Brahman, as it is said, from Brahman it arises space, from space arises air, from air arises fire, from fire arises water, and from water arises earth, and thus life itself. So all these 5 elements that are out there in nature, these 5 elements are within us as well. So what makes it different? The difference is that all these elements, they are actually in equilibrium with one another. Just the right amount, right amount in our body, right amount outside, and any difference in this equilibrium is what causes the problems. 70% of the body is made out of water. Too much water in the body will always cause problem. Too little water in the body will cause problem. Same outside. Too much water outside in the environment will cause problems. And what is happening at the present moment in Greece and in the Europe itself, fires are breaking out. Too much heat. Where and what it is that equilibrium of the elements has been broken or has is not to the same level as equilibrium it is. So anything that happens with our body, with the nature outside, is because the disturbance in this equilibrium of these five elements. We go to the doctors, and we go to doctors. There's something wrong with us. We go to the doctors, and what do doctors do? They give a little medicine to bring these elements within your body to level so that everything is okay. So I'm just going to talk a little bit on each one as I've been given certain amount of time. And again, it's the five elements within the body: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And each of these, as I said, are very equilibrium to one another, just the right amount for the body to function well. If any of these are not aligned, it causes problem, and it causes, then we have to go out to see doctors and things like that to try and make us feel a little better. And same thing with nature outside. We must our duty is to make sure that all these elements within outside are equilibrium and the same amount. So how do we do that? Well, let's go to, so the first item, how we do that in here is about dharma. What is dharma? Dharma is actually our duties in life, duties, whichever environment we are living in, we have certain duties to fulfill. And one of these duties, if you're a householder, we have the duties within the householding department. If we are outside, we are doing something, we have duty towards one another. And if we are outside, again, we have to fulfill these duties. And one of these duties is the environment that we live in. Why? Because every single thing that we use, that we wear, that we eat comes from nature itself. So our duty, one of our duties in as a Hinduism, is to look after our nature, because nature is what gives us. So the floor that we are sitting on, made out of wood, the paper that we are writing on, clothes that we are wearing, food that we eat, all comes from nature itself. And nature, again, as I said, is a part of our body. It is not some third item. So again, our dharmas says to us that please look after, it is your duty in life as a Hinduism, as a human being, to look after the environment, because it is something that gives us. And we call, one of the good phrases is we call our earth, Mother Earth. We call it as we denote it as a mother. Why? Because it is mother that gives us absolutely everything. Mother is something selfless. It just gives. And we call it, and Mother Earth is giving us every single thing that we are using. All these cars that we drive comes from nature. All the fuel for that car comes from nature. All the clothes we wear, all the food that we are eating, every single thing comes from nature itself. And it is our responsibility to look after nature, because nature is not here, then we as human beings absolutely do not do not exist at all. So that is our dharmas, to make sure that we are looking after our environment, looking after, um, I'm just looking, guiding as we go along. Next one is our karmas. Another concept of Hinduism is our karmas, which holds that every action will have consequences. What we do will always have consequences, and that is between any relationship. If we destroy something knowingly, we know that we are doing something and it will have some consequences to that. One's behavior towards environment will also have consequences. Thus, we can accumulate good karmas or bad karmas, depending upon what we do. And I'm going to show you another little slide. This is what we do has consequences upon us. That is our karmas. What will happen? Let's we are going to take an example. We are going to cut down some trees. What happens is the well, scientifically, the trees, what happens is gives us oxygen, and through photosynthesis, and gives us back, takes carbon dioxide from us and gives us oxygen. And or if we start cutting down trees, it has consequences on environment. There are few trees, less oxygen, more carbon dioxide in the environment, and there's not enough nature, enough greenery to be able to absorb all that kind of carbon dioxide that is released within the air. Non-violence, of course, one of the basic principles of Hinduism, non-violence towards human, towards animals, plants, forest, inhabitants of forest, violence towards anything, anyone living. If you use violence, it accumulates bad karmas for us. Practices, I mean, there were so many other practices that, but one of the practices that I will actually see, and I will ask you, and I have witnessed, and I'm going to look at this as a whole cycle. We've always a good practice we've done in Hinduism is to eat from banana leaf. I don't know how many people have done that. You go to some posh restaurants and they serve you on a little banana leaf, as to no plastic. Plastic has always been introduced by the West. We never had plastic. We'll always use, and this banana we used to feed it to the animals. Animals eat it. They give us what you call their dung. We use the dung in the field as fertilizers, and through that fertilizers we grow a banana again, and then tree again, and then whole cycle of recycling and cycling comes into the effect. So all I'm trying to say is that from Hinduism, nature is not an outside entity. Nature, environment is within us, and when we harm nature, we are harming ourselves. We are accumulating all those bad karmas that we don't want to. So please, you do not want to cut your arm. It's very painful. Yes, you don't want to hurt yourself. So by hurting yourself, you are hurting nature itself, because it is a part of you. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm glad everyone actually joined in.